Right then, this is now my Sebastian Fundora versus Keith Thurman full card predictions and breakdowns. And I think we've got a good card to predict here. Some real solid fights we've got, to be honest. We're starting with Elijah Garcia versus Keith Newman the second. I think that Elijah Garcia is going to win this fight. I think a big thing that a lot of people forget about Elijah Garcia is that he is 22 years old. He's only 22 and he's had 18 professional fights. You know, he's got a long way to go and he's doing pretty well for himself. Let's just say that so far. You know, he's already got a win over a world champion in Resendez. I think Elijah Garcia will win this fight. You know, look, he had that loss to Kyron Davis, split decision win in his last one against Goldsha, but let's be real, very arguably should have lost the fight. But either way, he got criticised quite a bit in that fight. And again, as I said, remember he's 22. He's got a lot to learn still, and he's doing well. I think Elijah Garcia will be able to beat Keith Newman. I think. Again, I think Keith Newman's good. I think it's definitely a credible name for Elijah Garcia, and I think it's one where it's definitely going to be a tough, and Keith Newman will definitely be able to pick up some rounds here and there and will be able to get the better of Elijah Garcia with his jab at range. You know, Garcia's going to look to get close. He's going to look to make this a fight. And I think what Garcia does really well, he plants his feet, works angles well, works very sneaky angles, to be honest. And punches come from weird angles with Elijah Garcia. You know, he's very good at whipping in shots to the body. He's very good at whipping in hooks upstairs. I feel like, again, he's an interesting one, Elijah Garcia. I feel like he's very smart with what he does. You know, I feel like he picks moments to throw some nice, quick volume punches a lot. And I don't think he's the quickest guy, but there's a lot of fun. There's a lot of whip in his shots. And, you know, when he throws shots with volume, you know, he gets his timing pretty much spot on. I think Keith Newman has got ways to cause issues here and there, and he's on a good streak right now as well. He's won his last six. I do think it's one that Elijah Garcia wins, though. The left hand, I think, is very good to the body. I feel like it's very good upstairs where he whips it in nicely and follows up. I feel like he's a good, solid combination puncher. He plants his feet well, and it shows his power. You know, 13 knockouts out of 17. I think Elijah Garcia is going to win this fight on points. I reckon he's going to win a unanimous decision here. But it's not going to be a really wide unanimous decision. It's going to be a competitive unanimous decision win for Elijah Garcia. Okay, then we go to Big Gerg. Big Gergen Hovhanaiser. I can't really say his name. Gergen versus Cesar Navarro. I don't think we're going to be having to say Hovhanisian that much anymore because I think that Cesar Navarro is going to win this fight. He's got to win. He's better than Gergen. Let's bloody say that. He is, without a shadow of a doubt, better than him. I feel like he looked very good when he fought Daniel Perro. I feel like that was a good performance from Cesar Navarro. Lost the fight, dropped him twice, though, but again, looked good. I'd say that's probably, definitely the most credible name that he's fought. And it was a decent level fight. I feel like he did well. I think he's going to cause Gergen problems. I feel like his movement when he's coming on the inside is good. I feel like his upper body movement is good. Gergen stands there and waits for a big shot. That's what he does. Navarro's going to put it on him, and Navarro's going to push him back up against the ropes and tee off and beat him down. I reckon Cesar Navarro stops Gergen. Yeah, he's a massive guy, can take a shot, but who's he really for? I think Cesar Navarro's going to batter him, if I'm being honest. I feel like he's going to push him back, put him right on his bike, back him up against the ropes, tee off. You know, he puts lovely shots together, Cesar Navarro. We've seen it. His timing's good. I think Gerger's going to be a sitting bloody punching bag for Navarro. That's my opinion. I think Navarro is going to make easy work out of this. Yeah, what does Gergen do? Like nothing really. He waits. Navarro's not a sitting duck who's just going to wait to be knocked out. He's going to be moving right in, and he's gonna get on the inside. He's gonna absolutely bully Gergen, in my opinion. I think Cesar Navarro is gonna stop him. I think Cesar Navarro is gonna stop him. I'm gonna say rounds 4 or 5. That's my prediction. Anyway, now 3 big fights. We've got Yanil Hernandez versus Tyrell Gulsha. I love watching Yanil Hernandez, to be honest. He's very, very, very good to watch. Very good up close with, a very nice high guard. He's difficult to hit, but again, he's very good at range as well. I really like the Cuban style that he's got. I really like his style. I feel like he's very good. Gosha, good opponent for him. Good opponent. We've already spoken about him with his fight with Elijah Garcia. I think Tyrell Gusha, again, no mug whatsoever, but I feel like he's got a style which Hernandez can tee off on. That's my opinion. Again, no mug at all. I reckon he can test Hernandez here and there in some exchanges, definitely. And he could beat him in some exchanges. He's good. He's no mug. Plants his feet well. I feel like Ghost is a good combination puncher. And as I said again, I thought with Elijah Garcia, he's very good in exchanges. I feel like this is a different kind of beast, though. Hernandez, he is world class already. He's ridiculously good. He's ridiculously good at picking shots at range. He's so good at managing the range. I feel like he's going to be so awkward for Gosha, to be honest. I feel like he's going to be so awkward for him. Yeah, he's an unreal talent, Hernandez. He is an unreal talent. I think this goes the distance. No one stopped Gosha before, and I think it's one where Hernandez, he's gonna be able to get rounds in, but if I'm being completely honest here, he's gonna basically win every single round. This is the kind of fight which you want. Again, as I said, Gosha no mug, but he's got that style which someone like Hernandez can just tee off on and beat down eventually. And I think Gosha's going to take a lot of big headshots here in this fight. I don't think he'll get stopped, though. I don't think he'll get stopped. He might do, but I'm going to say he doesn't. But convincing unanimous decision for Hernandez. I think he'll win every single round. Okay, then. Next up, then. Yonis Tellez versus Brian Mendoza. This is an interesting one. I will say this is an interesting one. It's a very interesting opponent for Tellez. I think, who do I think is going to win? Because we look at that Barrow fight which he lost. He struggled with the pressure. He was getting pushed back. That's why he lost. He was getting pushed back, bullied up against the ropes. Yonis Tellez was bullied up against the ropes. I feel like it's a risky matchup style-wise because Mendoza is going to look to back him up against the ropes. And Mendoza, he's operated at a higher bloody level than what Barrow did. I do think it's one which Tellez could put things right in. But Mendoza is brutal, though. Brian Mendoza is brutal. This is a fight where we're gonna see if Yonis Tellez is actually all that. It's a really risky fight. I actually don't know why they've stuck him in there with someone like Mendoza. I don't know if they're trying to build him back up for that Barrow rematch, but arguably it's a tougher fight. I do think Yonis Tellez will put things right. I do. I reckon it's one where he will put things right and win. I reckon he'll win a close decision. This one could be some kind of robbery, though, I reckon. PBC really want him to win. They really want him to win this fight. I reckon Yonis Tellez will win. a decision. It's going to be a very competitive fight. Mendoza's going to have his moments up close. Again, there's going to be a lot of swing rounds here and there as well, though. I don't think it's a case of, oh, yeah, Tellez will take this half of the fight, Mendoza will take this half of the fight. I don't think it's that the case. I think there's going to be swing rounds here and there. Mendoza's aggression might be too much in this round. Tellez might be able to, outland him, outbox him, use his footwork well enough in another round to take that one. That's what I think. But I reckon it's one where people are going to say, oh, yeah, Mendoza should have won that fight. Mendoza's aggression was too much. But it's Tellez, I think, is going to win. I feel like his footwork is going to do well, and he's not going to hang around on the ropes. That's the thing that he did. Because I do think when he fought Burrow, there was chances for him to get off the ropes, but I feel like he was too happy to fight on the back foot. I feel like now he could stand his ground with Brian Mendoza more and try and work angles around him and use his footwork to his advantage this time round, because he didn't use it enough in his loss. I think Tellez will win, but it very bloody well could be a robbery. Anyway, we then go to our main event, Sebastian Fundora versus Keith Thurman. Okay, this is a 6'6" man versus a 5'7" man. Keith Thurman is 5'7". He's not 5'9.5", like a lot of stats say. He's 5'7". Look at the face-off with Manny Pacquiao, and again, that plays into effect because basically now it's a whole foot advantage basically that Sebastian Fundora has got over Keith Thurman. I really want Keith Thurman to win. I feel like it'd be very good for American boxing if Keith Thurman wins. I feel like it'd be good for boxing in general if Keith Thurman wins. I think Fundora is really tightening up his game though, and I think Fundora is getting better every single fight. Keith Thurman, it's been over a year since the Brock Jarvis fight, but let's be real, the last time he was actually in a fight really was against Barrios, and that was in 2022 or something like that. He's been out for basically 4 years, Keith Thurman, let's say that. Fundora's very quick on the inside. He's very good at range. Thurman's definitely got a better boxing IQ, but at 37 years old, can you actually trust him to win this fight? There's ways that he can win. Am I going to put my money on him? No, I think Sebastian Fundora is going to win. I reckon. Can he go the distance? No, I reckon Fundora. I think Fundora is going to win. Does he go the distance? No, I reckon Thurman gets stopped. I don't think he'll get dropped. I think he gets stopped. I reckon the ref has to call it. I reckon Thurman's going to be a bloody mess. That's what I think. I think Thurman's going to be a mess. I reckon Thurman takes the first round, then loses every single round to that. Then I reckon gets stopped in round 7 or 8. That's my prediction. Sebastian Fundora around 7 or 8, I reckon, is going to stop Keith Thurman. Referee's going to step in. I feel like he's going to be badly cut. I think Fundora is going to be able to tee off on him at range. He's too tall for the division. It's actually unfair. It actually is. He is the definition of a height bully. We've seen nothing like that bloody before. He's a foot taller than Keith Thurman. If you're not telling me that's not going to affect anything, then you're lying. You're stupid. It's going to affect a lot. And I think the thing is, Keith Thurman's going. I feel like there's ways he can win. He's going to look to get in and out of there. But again, I think the reason why Brian Mendoza was able to get Fundora out of there is because he has traded with him on the inside. He was taking shots. He's ridiculous. Brian Mendoza is a ridiculously durable, man. It's unreal. Thurman at 37 is not going to be that durable. He's smarter than Mendoza. I don't think he's got that style in the pocket, especially at this point in his career. I mean, he is good in the pocket, Thurman. We know that. I feel like Thurman's good everywhere. But at this point in his career, do I trust him to be durable enough? Do I trust him to be quicker enough than Fundora in the pocket. No, I don't. I think Fundora is going to get this job done. I feel like he'll be able to tee off on him at range. He'll get the better of him when he steps into the pocket. I think Fundora gets a stoppage win. Yeah, there are my predictions. I hope Keith Thurman wins. I'm not going to lie. But I think we got some really interesting fights. I think Hernandez versus Gosha's good fight. I think Yanis Tellez versus Brian Mendoza is very intriguing. And I think the main event is going to be interesting as well. But let's wait and see.